Right, and here we have it. We have the whole screen. We have Discord running over here. We have our API document, and we are recording. This is probably going to be about 40 to 45 minutes long. The previous one was last Thursday during the day. This is Wednesday, May 21st in the evening. Try to get as much in that we can across the globe, traders from all over the globe. So yeah, so this is about the API. This is the API. Um, it's going to be some of the repeats from last time, but I also learned some stuff from the last time because the last time we had this last Thursday, the API for Topstep was 4 days old. We already had a bunch of traders in there doing stuff, and trying to answer a lot of that, kind of a high level overview. But I got a bunch more questions, compiled them, put them in there. We do have a couple of other monitors in here from other places looking and seeing out. So um, if they're here and they know who I'm talking about, they can message me through Slack if they wish. Um, and that would be wonderful for feedback there. So here we go. Here it is. Topstep API. Now, what the heck? What is an API? Well, first of all, we know TopstepX, and TopstepX is the trading platform, the main trading platform for Topstep now. It's branded. It's called what's called a white label. There's a company behind it called Project X, and they have the basic platform. You can do this with a lot of them. I personally use Quant Tower for my own personal brokerage and trading, and you can actually do a thing called a white label for Quant Tower. So I could actually have a company and then brand it for my own, change the colors, change the setup, and that's exactly what white labeling is. It's very, very similar. So you have Project X in the background, and then Topstep X is what runs on top of it. And yes, there are other platforms that use it as well. No secrets there because when you look in the API, you have to choose which data path you have. If you're trading with Topstep and you're developing for your own API and your own automation for Topstep, then you choose Topstep on the connection. If it's another program, then you choose that one. So no secrets there. It is what it is. Yes, Pat, it'll be recorded. And everybody else has sound, so don't worry about it. I'm going to talk fast with these things. I talk fast anyway. It should be legible and eligible to auditory to be able to hear, but I will go through it. I want to make sure I get to everything and not go over my time here. So what is an API? An API, here's the very first part of it. Let's see if I can bring this up a little bit larger. 125. There we go. All right, yeah. You can get my ugly mug out of there. So what is an API? So an API, it simply means application programming interface. So you have an application, and then you're going to code in it or program in it, and it's an interface to another set of applications. So, for example, I program using a language called C Sharp. Python actually is more popular these days. I happen to know C Sharp. I don't know much about Python. I need to learn it. It's becoming more popular. So I take C Sharp, and I'm using something called, it's right at the bottom, called Visual Studio 2022. It's a community version. It's free, and I code in there. So that's my application. Now I have to follow a set of rules and parameters in a specific way of writing, calls to say, hey, this is what I want to do. I want you to give me the data from the CME, and I want it from, through the Project X API, and I want you to give me the data for NQ. Well, I do that in the Visual Studio using C# language with the correct proper formatted information. French, English, German, Spanish, whatever. You have to speak the same different languages. So if I use that and said Python, I would have to use the Python called the syntax, the way you write things down. Some you have to put a semicolon at the end, some is a comma, and they're different, okay? So with Project X having the base of it, the back end of it, and we have the data connection through called the API, the Application Programming Interface, and you can use whatever you want on the front end to develop. Okay, you can use Notepad. There's one called Notepad++. And if any coders are in here are like, I'm 56, so if you're on my age, you probably heard of VI. Go ahead and use VI if you want. All you have to do is get the right language. It's just the same thing as saying, hey, I want to write a paper in English, but I can write it on a newspaper. I can write on a plain piece of paper. I can write on a napkin. Those are just the things you're writing it on. But it still needs to be in the language of English, Spanish, German, French, whatever it's going to be. So that's the difference between the two. So what we say for an API, this is a good analogy. I didn't come up with this. I learned about it. But the API is, it's like a menu at a restaurant. So I can look at a menu and see what I want to order, and I can say, hey, I want this steak. If you know me, I like my steaks, right? I have a steak and I want it cooked a certain way, but I don't have to know how the kitchen is being run to be able to get the proper steak that I like cooked the way I want it. Okay, and that is how this all transpires. Hey, I want to go and get data from NQ. I want to get the open, high, low, and close for the last hourly candle. I'm going to use Visual Studio or PyCharm if you're using Python, and I'm going to use this set of rules and this set of protocols to say, hey, go get me the information and give it back to me. That's all we need to know. Okay, it's an encrypted connection. Boom, goes across. You have your thing called an API key, and it gives you a token that you use, which identifies you as yourself. So you're going to have your own username, and your API token, your API key is your password. We're going to go through the whole thing of how to set it all up. Trust me, we're 5 minutes into this. We got a ways to go. Yep, pump. We're going to show you all that stuff in the first place, how you're going to get everything. So I'm going to go piece by piece here. There's 8 pages, so I'm going to kind of stop after each, maybe 1 or 1.5, and I'll take a look at the chat. And then we'll go from there. C++, that was horrible. Paul, C++. Oh, TradeStation, I was doing that. They call it the easy language. It's not easy. Anyway, moving on. So here it is. The API is a product of Project X that you can use in your TopstepX accounts. And if you're here from somewhere else, you can use it for your other firm if you want. Also, it's an API. You have to subscribe to them. I'm focused on TopstepX right now. Once your TopstepX account is connected to the API, the support is provided by the Project X team. Now, that being said, there is, which you all know, inside of the Topstep Discord, there's an API channel. And that is not a tech support channel. So I'm going to be in there a lot more now, where I'm not going to be able to come in and say, hey, how do I do this type of coding? And I have a problem with this, that, and the other. And what is the syntax? And how do I? There's a whole bunch of documentation for that. They're all at the top. I'm going to go through all of them. So you'll see them all here, just like last time, and give you some examples. And I'm currently, this ChatGPT is a custom GPT that I am continuously training, so it's learning on everything that we're doing. And when there are changes, adjustments made, like a URL changes, for example, or some type of structure, it's going to automatically update, and we'll get the best information. I have samples of codes in there, links over to GitHubs, links over to documentation. It's just the Help Center articles. It's super good, but it's like anything else. It's probably 90% good, but you're going to look at it and say, hey, that this isn't quite right. I get it. It's going to happen that way. But if you're used to coding something Paul here says with C++, great. If you know C++ and you look at the API and you code it that way and say, good, give this to me in Python now. It's pretty good at that. And if you take that and not sure, put it into like Grok, which is X or Twitter, Elon Musk or one of your other APIs that you're interested in using, Claude or something, whatever you want to use. But I have that built already, and I have pointers out, and it's learning as it goes. So it's going to keep getting better and better and better over time. It's free to use. We'll get you the link for that. Syntax, exactly. Okay. But if you have a problem with the API itself, like you're in there and there's an issue with it, that does go through the Project X team. There's a form. I'll show you what the form looks like. It's simply right here. These are all links at the end. It's projectx.com, and it's you don't have to go to contact, because if I click contact, it's just going to pretty much bring me down to the contact form. So you submit your information right there. Okay, and that's not anything. That's got nothing to do with Topstep itself. So if you want to, let's say the subscription for the API is through Project X. So we're going to go through that. And let's say you go in there and something happens and disconnect whatever. That's a Project X thing. It's not a Topstep thing. The subscription goes through there. If you can't get your Topstep username to show your charts, or look at your account to see where your balance is, that's a Topstep problem. So I'm assuming that any of these traders that are in here right now, 123 traders in here right now, you have some technical knowledge behind you, because it's not necessarily for the faint of heart to do these things. You got to know, you got to be a little bit of a nerd like me. You have to kind of understand these things. And there are some coders in here that know a heck of a lot more than I do. Straight up, they're doing some fabulous things. I actually grabbed some examples for it. Nerds Unite, XFMR, yes, exactly. XMR Fate, there you go. So here's the 2 sets of documentation for Project X support. That's what I just showed you. And then the API documentation is up the top. It looks like this. And this is documentation. We can see, I'm going to go through it again anyway. So here's a section I said for contact URLs. This is us. There's our connection URLs for Project X. Way to go. Okay, we have to make sure we're choosing the right information. Placing your first order, blah, blah, blah. Where's my URL? Say curl request to get your information. This is a demo. It's, as I see this right now. So this would be your own gateway information, and I will show you that as well. So here we have it, okay? You're just going to go step by step by step by step by step. Back to this. I am going to read this disclaimer before I move on with anything else, and then I'll pause for a quick second, and I will take a look at the chat. Just make sure we're up to date with everything. We're 10 minutes in, so a quarter of the way there. Here we go. Topstep does not provide technical support for coding, API implementation, integration, or troubleshooting. All development, maintenance, and risk associated with the API use is the sole responsibility of the user or trader or coder. Trades made using third-party or custom-built API tools are not eligible for review, adjustment, or reversal by Topstep. Period. It's not going to happen. And we can see it if it's coming through the API or not. All trades executed via the API are considered final. Use of the API access and any connected tools is entirely at your own risk. Pretty strict on that. Okay, so I'm going to scroll down just a little bit more here. I'll leave this next page on the screen for a second. You're getting this document. It's a PDF. I'll put it in the chat afterwards. I'm going to take a quick look, make sure I'm not missing anything in the chat area. Yes, I'm sharing the doc. Let me go right down. Discipline with trading. Oh, Leon, thank you. Discipline with trading. Yeah, hell yeah. Absolutely, hell yeah. All 3 zones hit today. It was beautiful. 2 on the upside, and then that big sell-off at the end of the day. Remember, dropped all the way down. Boom, right through the zone. I got all that stuff on there on documented. Beautiful. Okay, what we got here? Anything but think. Oh no think script, please. You don't know exact Coog. I think it's what Coog. You don't need to know how to make a clock to tell the time. To tell time, absolutely. I'm gonna go through the API here. You've been waiting for it. Yep, thank goodness. Syntax. Go with Python. Excellent. Yeah, I have links over to all the GitHub stuff and all documentation, so it should pull the right info for you. Should try that making Grok convert. Yeah, I've done that a bunch of times where I've gone through several. There's I'm trying to think of the other one. There's so many out there, but it actually worked out pretty good. Dang, it'll come to me. It wasn't Grok. It was definitely one for coding. Someone will put it in there, but it was really good. So I said, hey, I went ChatGPT because it knows a lot of stuff I do. I put my information in there and it's like, this looks okay. And then I copied that and I said, what do you think of this? And it actually modified and said, you can do better by putting like a for loop in there and then getting rid of this section and then making this a method instead of calling it twice. I was like, wow, this is really cool. And then I put it back into GPT. I'm like, what about these updates? And like, that's a brilliant idea. So the 2 AIs were talking to each other, complimenting. It was really cool. There'd unite. Never mind, I can't go through that stuff now. It's not Topstep doesn't do South Africa. We want traders from everywhere. There's exchanges that have limitations, and we can't accept you from South Africa. It's not us. We just get a list that gets updated every month, and all of a sudden they come and say, hey, here's a restricted country, and we just simply can't do it. It's not us. Topstep would love to have everybody. We love South Africa. Absolutely. So our apologies. We just cannot do anything about it. Pumpkin kicks. I can't. No, it's not pumpkin. 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 Why can't I say that? So you can make an automated trading bot with this then, or no indicators. No, there are no indicators at this point in time. I'm going to go through that, but however, it doesn't mean you can't reference. If you want a moving average of the 20 candles, you don't need candles to do that. You just need the close of the last 20 period and then average them, divide by 20. Add them up, divide by 20. There's your moving average of 20. So you don't need candles to do that. So you'll get the data. You're just not going to have it on the chart. You'll see the orders on the chart, no problem, but you're not going to get an indicator say, hey, show me the high of day. It's like, why do you want to show you the high of day in the chart? You can just call the high of day, query the daily candle for the high, and you have your number. That's the beauty of the API stuff. You get rid of all the extra bloat. You don't need any of that stuff. It runs independent. You don't need your charts up. Make your own little program. Run it that way. I'm going to have some built myself that I'm doing as well, and I'll share them with the community and say, hey, here it is. Get me this information. Oh, if I want five newer highs and do a breakout, well, just look back and what was the last high you saw and hold that as a variable. And then if a higher is higher than that, then hold that as your variable, count to 2. And then a higher is higher than that, hold that as a variable, count to 3, and there's your entry number. Okay, so it's logic that we have to think through. I can't do all of that stuff, but this is how it works. Go through documentation, hire somebody. I have some resources for you toward the end. But to be clear, you're not gonna have an indicator show up on a chart at this point in time, and you don't need it. If you're coding through an API for automated trading, you don't need an indicator. All you need is the data behind, including VWAP. Look at the formula, Google it, find out the formula for VWAP, for MACDs, all that stuff. It's all if it can be put on a chart, you get the data and you have it at your disposal, no problem. Okay, so here, this is going to be your place to start. This is the Topstep Help Center. Okay, you click on this link, it brings you to Help Center. It answers probably 85% of all the questions that I'm being asked. I put a form out, asked for questions, and the last one, it was like 1,100 questions. And I was actually shocked at some of the questions I got. Like, for the API, like one of the questions I'm reading right now says, "Can I automate my trades?" Like, that is exactly what the API is for. So this is going to answer 80. I'll go low. It's 80% of your questions is this Topstep article. Again, I'm going to share the link here in a minute. We'll have everything, but it shows you step by step. And what I actually did, folks, is I actually went to my own personal, personally, I said, I don't know about Topstep. I don't know anything about it. I went to Topstep.com. I signed up for a combine using my name, my personal information, not Topstep info, a different email address, put my credit card in there, signed up for 50K combine, went over using this document to the dashboard for Project X, linked them together, subscribed to the API. It took me 7 minutes to do this entire process. And the only problem I had is I fat fingered my password the second time I entered it. It's the only issue I had. It was my fault. It's simple, but I'm going to tell you this straight up. You got to read. You have to follow directions. And if there are a bunch of coders in here, we know about following directions. We know about process. We know about logic. We know about sequences. And we know that. So follow it. You'll get it. It'll go right through there. I'm telling you, I did it. I had to see for myself. I'm like, all right, what's going on? How come I'm getting all these questions? This didn't work. I can't get that. This didn't come through for me. I had to start from scratch. Like, wait a minute, what am I doing? I literally went live, and it popped up on the chart and said, hey, you want to do this? Click this. Hey, you want to get your key? Subscribe here. I just went through the whole process. It was a piece of cake. It literally took me 7 minutes, folks, to go through this whole thing. It's super, super, super simple. They did a great job setting all this stuff up. So you go into it, you go to your dashboard, you hit the API, you link it over to your product, to your TopstepX account. You log into it. You don't have an account, you can make a new one there. This is your Project X login, how to sign up for it. This is all here. I'm going through quick because you're going to see all this stuff. It brings you to your Project X dashboard. You subscribe to your API using the code Topstep, all lowercase, Topstep. It is half price right now, 50% off. So $14.50. Put it in here. I put my credit card in here, and I click on subscriptions. It now showed in subscriptions. Super, super simple, super sleek, super easy. Just read and just follow instructions. That's all you have to do, literally. I'll beat that to death. And then we have the frequently asked questions. I'm answering some of these in the document, but it does answer these here as well, but we're going to talk through them. And then we have our API on the Topstep Discord. This is all of us as we're talking right now. And then contact Project X directly. That brings us to the Project X here. It actually links us right down to this form. We see a little hashtag up here. It brings us to this part on their website. So it's really good. It's very sleek, very smooth, but that is the Topstep's Help Center article for the API access. Follow it step by step. You'll do perfectly fine. Discord channel, I already mentioned that also. Most of you are already in there, but this one here is specifically for Topstep API access. I don't want to come through. Yeah, I guess I can scroll up to show. Here it is right here, Topstep API. And just while I have it on this screen, I put this API bug reports here, and I compiled that list earlier today in all of the suggestions and bugs and our reports and everything we had that you can see in here. I reported all of these to the Project X team. They now have it in their wheelhouse, and they're looking for it. Some of it I answered just as I was going through them, and some of the stuff that I didn't know the answers to, so I forwarded it along. But this is your API channel. It's in Discord. Look under the platform hub. TopstepX platform, TopstepX API, a lot of super, super great traders in there. And I got a couple of screenshots in there for it. I hope they don't mind. I didn't put names on there because if they didn't want to say it or whatever, but it was public info. They posted, hey, this is what I'm building. There you go. Just a screenshot. So that's where you find the TopstepX API channel in Discord. Topstep dashboard, okay? Dashboard.topstep.com. This is where you have all your information. This is where we go through. We see our first set of it. We have to go to our dashboard. This is the Topstep Project X dashboard, but our TopstepX dashboard is right here. We go to settings. There's our API, and we link it, and then we add our API key. It's not hard. It's not rocket science. And there's the link for it right there. Again, you'll have all this information. Here's the important part. This is the Project X dashboard. That's what you'll need to do to subscribe to get to the API access. You will get your API key there. Do not share this key. Do not share this key. Do not share this key. That is your key to life. If you share that key, they will be trading on your account. Do not share that key. Can't say that enough. Don't share it. You can share this if you want. Topstep, 50% off. Okay? For what you get for the $14.55, it is a ton, and it's just getting started. Like anything else, this thing came out last Monday, folks. You're 7 days old, 10 days old now. So yeah, absolutely. For what you're getting for this and what you can build on it, absolutely amazing. So this here is a custom GPT builder. It may be your new best friend, not because I did it. It's just anybody can make a custom GPT, but it's how you train it and what the instructions are, how it gets modified, how it learns. I've been building a few of these personally for my own stuff externally, but here it is, TopstepX Code Builder. That's what it's called. There's the link right there. Okay, and it's also in the documentation. So it's the exact same. Okay, see 477B TopstepX Code Builder. 477B TopstepX Code Builder. That's it right there. Okay, and I'll pull that up in a second once I get through this document, and we'll do a couple of examples, show you what it looks like, show you how it works, so on and so forth. Signal R. This is where you get, here's all the documentation. Project X Gateway documentation, real-time updates, real-time. This is Signal R. Okay. This is the user hub, and this is your market hub. This is where you're getting all your information. Note that it has demo information here. You need to change that, folks. Come on, you're coders. You need to change that. We have the right gateways in there. This is demo. It's so we don't want to put, like, see, this is your bearer token. You put your own token in there. We're not going to put one in there. This is a demo. We have to change it out. Okay, so keep that in mind. This is standard documentation. So this is through Microsoft, the Signal R, and what that does, it gives you real-time information. Okay, give live price feeds, instant order status updates, your balances and P&Ls as it's running, as it's happening. So let's say you want to have your own profit target, and in this you can make separate. You can say, I just placed an order for 2 contracts, and I want to take one off at 10 points and the other off at 20 points. You can do that by monitoring this. Okay, those are real-time updates. You can absolutely do that. Notification for fills, stops, brackets being triggered, and you can do multiple brackets. It's not in the TopstepX platform as it stands right now, just due to called the GUI, right? GUI, graphical user interface. Just the way that it's set up, you enter your trades, you can drag your brackets, so you can set them the OCO up ahead of time. But with the API, you have more freedom. You can actually stack those because each order is getting its unique ID, and you can monitor the unique IDs. I have a unique ID for this quantity of 2. I'm going to monitor that, take one off, monitor it, take one off, so on and so forth. Trailing stops, you want to do them? Sure. You can put all this stuff in there. It's all in the documentation. Instead of client repeatedly asking for server information, which is polling, it's going to push the updates instantly. And it's 400 concurrent requests, I believe was the last number that I heard. Just watching to see if there are any corrections. 400 is what I had listed. Tutorials and step-by-step videos. Yeah, you're going to see my voice and face going around with a lot of these things here. Just like the TopstepX in 5 minutes or less. 50 of those suckers. I got more to make on those too, as well. As soon as we get a little more time. We got a lot more help on Topstep TV now, so we'll be spending a little more time doing those types of things, and I love it. So yes, I'll be putting in these videos. They'll be short, just easy. Hey, if you want to go here, here's an exact sample. Oh, you want to make a bracket order? Here's some code. Here's what it looks like in Python. Here's what it looks like in C#. Here's what it looks like in JavaScript. Okay, not PineScript. It is not, even though the trading view charts, it is not PineScript. We'll go through that right after this. So let me scroll this up. I will hold it here. We'll go through that next. Let me look at the chat, see if I'm missing anything. Just checking, 25 minutes in. We're good on time. Come on, I'm not able to go through all that. Wait, API augmentation. I'm currently using Topstep platform. Yeah, you'll have to get all that stuff. It's all in the documentation. You can go right through that. Okay. Um, to get your API key, so we'll be very clear with this, is you have to use your TopstepX username when you get your API key. It's right here. Okay. So I'll go through that in a second and make sure. If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. Hi, Carl. Way to go. Perplexity. Drew, 33, my hero. Perplexity. That's exactly it. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's the one. Perplexity. It's really good. It's giving me some good trades as well. I like it. So I do ChatGPT first because I have a bunch of stuff linked and being trained, and I already have document stuff uploaded. It's even on my own stuff, and then I'll go, okay, what does this look like? And it's Perplexity. I couldn't believe I didn't remember. Actually don't use Grok every once in a while, but Perplexity. Yes, that's the one. Paul, it's gonna be a lot of fun. It has been a lot of fun. There's a lot of us that haven't been sleeping. That's damn sure. And we damn sure know about syntax. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Okay, sandbox. No, that's a great question. There is currently no sandbox available, but you have a practice account you can use. And there are some code references that you can also use, and a couple of GitHubs out there. And some of the traders in here, some of the coders, share their GitHub. So give them a shout out and go there and contribute. Have a joint effort. If you see something, definitely fix it up. Crypto token. No, not doing crypto. This is all futures. So Rainy, what if you write in Notepad and C Sharp, but where do you run it? Well, that's going to be up to you. You have to have an environment. It's an IDE, right? You have to be able to put it in a development environment where you can actually run it as an application. So like PyCharm, if you're using Python, is great. And again, I use the Visual Studio. That's what I've been using when I'm coding all the quant tower stuff in C Sharp. So I'm sticking with C Sharp right now because that's what I know. But I need to be learning Python as well. So, and I got some resources. I'll share those as well here in a minute. Damon, yes, you do get a copy of the document. I want to. It's a PDF. I'm gonna give you the whole thing at the end of it. Just because I'll lose people. They'll just start looking, start clicking around, and then I'll get questions about something I'm going to talk about anyway. 2 pages later. So yes, I will share the whole thing. You basically place your own manual limit entry, then employ the API to solely manage it. Absolutely. So here's the API reference right here. If we look at orders, searching for orders, place in an order. Here you go. So who asked me about this? Josias. Yes. So here you go. If you go to place an order, so if we go to the top, see here's your post. This is the post method you're going to use. Excuse me. And there's your API reference of where it needs to go. Again, this is demo. You have to use the right one. TopstepX, because it's from multiple other firms as well. Project X backend. This is all gonna be TopstepX stuff. And if you put this information in the Chat GPT the custom one I built, it will correct it for you. And then here's your parameters. So what type do you want to use? Do you want to use a limit, mark, trailing stop, join bid, join ask? So yes, you can manage all of those things. Username is depending on where it is. Here's your username. Here's the first thing you do. Let me make sure I get all these questions and I'll go right to it. When I search for contracts, I have the live status at the default. The contract's names still pop up. Well, false. So live, when you set it to true, there's no contrast because true means it's a live account. If you're not trading a live account, then you would set that to false. False is for combines and for XFA. Okay. All right. So here's the first thing you do. Once you get your API key by going through this documentation, subscribe to the API, connect it to your platform, create your account, and then once you purchase your subscription, you come in here and you put your card in and you get your API key, which you see it on the left hand. Where is it on the right here? On the left hand side, once you make your connection, you click on Add API Key, and then right above this, you'll have it'll be a little eyeball. We can hide it and unhide it. Unhide it there. There's a copy right there, and in that copy, now you go and you paste it into your area right here. Here's your username. You go to this URL. Okay, this URL right here. It's in documentation. It will bring you to this gateway. Right next to it, there's a try it out. When you click on try it out, this will become active instead of a demo information. And see, it's right here. It's kind of hard to see, but you can zoom in on it. It says username, and there's a string value. That will be your TopstepX username, not your Product X. TopstepX username, not an email address. Username, case sensitive. Right below there says API key. That's where you paste the API key that you got when you subscribe to the API. And once you do that, you click on this little button right here called execute. And what that will do is it will verify. You can see right here, it has ROBERT a little bit. And here's my API key. I get all this blacked out. And then as soon as it queries it, it's going to request it through curl, a curl request right here. And then it comes right back and it gives you your token that you'll be using. Okay? That is it. And I just say this, put it somewhere secure area. You have your username, you have your API key, and you have your token. So when you're building out your API, where is it? Here, you're going to need to populate that information, like placing your first order. It gives you this information. Okay, here's a response, what you need to go through. Here's the request. Again, it says demo. You have to give it the information. There's your connection URLs. There used to be a list on here. There we are. It's in demo. If I go to, watch this, I'm going to go to TopstepX. Watch these gateways. Ready? TopstepX. Bam. See that? There's your API information. So now I'm in TopstepX. Okay? Very simple. API reference, place an order, accounts, search my account. This is what you search. This is what you use for your request to get your account information. And it's going to query the name of your account, shows you your balance, whether it's active, not, whether it's still showing in your list. Okay? So I'm not going to go through like every single step of this because you're here just for the demonstration, not step by step. Those will be in tutorials. I'll be doing this stuff step by step to say, hey, here's your first connection. Here's what you do, and doing it in real time. Okay? So let's see. I had a bunch of questions were submitted. I'm going to look at the chat for 1 second, and I want to make sure I stay on topic here and on time. When will OCO orders be fixed? On the TopstepX platform itself, I have no idea. That's the Project X thing. I have no idea. In the API, you build them yourself, set up your own OCO order any way you want to set it up. I actually don't know this answer, Josiah. Like what is security set up? I don't know what the encryption backend stuff is. That's not me from this side of it. Throw that into the Project X contact form, and somebody get back to you. Or if I'll have it here in this document as I'm doing this. I have it here. Your comment, I can find out, and I can add that to my documentation as well. We can query the GPT and see. We'll do that in a second and see if it knows, because I honestly don't know the answer to that. 200 signal, but the error code 0 and trying to place a market order. There's so much that can happen for that. Just a market order, like, yeah, there's so much. You could be querying your Combine account and trying to send the order through your practice account. I don't know. You have to look at it. Responsibility. So it is our responsibility to make sure live is set to true for Combine and XFA accounts. You can't just execute on those accounts like any other account. What about other firms? I can't answer or speak for any other firms, but that's what it is. If you're doing a live account, there's a reason, because if you think about this, Ari, it's a good question. If you think about this, the Combines and XFAs are a simulated environment. So they're going through Topstep systems and being watched through there. So you're only getting a one-way process. You're only getting a data feed coming to you. But as you're placing those orders, it's just going through the simulated environment. There's nothing going to the market. And now when you become live, it's going to change, the little thing on the train's coming out. It has a fork. It's going to change that path now. So you're getting the data from the exchange, and now when you're placing an order, it's going through the exchange. So that's a very, very important piece of information. So am I using a live account or am I not using a live account? And it's you could do a checkbox on it. You know what I mean? Ari, I think I know you from another Discord location, but you're smart about this. Just put a checkbox on there, live or not. checkbox on or off, true or false. And if it's live, check it off, it queries it, and next thing you know, it's running the live sequence, and the orders you get back are related to live, so you can do all that stuff. So let's see. Are there any trading limits for Topstep? The maximum number of trades possible per minute per day. I know that it's not. Yeah, Ari, you're welcome. Yeah, I know you got this. I think I know you from somewhere else too, so that's all good. So DDLC, I don't know the exact limits, but I do know we have to look at those in the terms of service where high frequency trading, or HFT, is not allowed. Meaning if you're taking several thousand trades in 5 minutes, it's going to be a problem. I do know that if you're looking around 200 or so, you should be okay with that. It's not going to be that big of a deal, especially now when we have on TopstepX the 10-to-1 ratio, mini to micro. So think of this: if you have a 150K account, that's 15 contracts. Well, that's 150 micros. So if you're stacking them up, 10 here, 5 there, 2 there, 1 there, 10 there, 5 there, bam, 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 that's going to add up to a lot of trades. But if it's out of the ordinary, if you're doing that every second or two, I'm sure that probably it's going to be a problem. Look in the terms of service. I'm not going to quote that exactly because I don't have the exact number for you. I'm not sure if there is one. But if you're around 200, 300, 400 trades, I haven't seen an issue with that. So I would say that would be say, what about 500? Yeah, space them out. But if you think about it, you're not going to need all that, to be honest, right? It's not high frequency trading. That's not what this is about. And there are limits. There are I don't honestly, I don't 100% know what that throughput restriction is. I know it's 400 concurrent sessions, but there is a limit on it. I don't know what that limit is. And if you want to throw that into the Project X and ask them, that would be great. But I do not have that answer, and I have seen that asked a couple times. I will find that answer, and I'll have it in the documentation. So if we go into our little GPT thing and say, hey, how many can I trade? It'll give us that information. Hisam, oh, thank you so much. You're welcome so much. YWSM, I guess. We'll go with that, right? I know I'm being goofy now. In slippage in live markets, Topscott, great. By the way, Topscott is an awesome coder. Built some great stuff. Look in there, and he's been fabulous. Super, super help. Give him a shout out whenever I can. He's done great work in there. Yeah, so you don't want to do that. The whole point of this is so, hey, I need to run to the store. I need to bring my kid to school. I don't feel well today. You can turn it on and let it take your trades. But doing your fair value gaps, whatever the hell you want to make it, your breakouts, your reversals, your high of days, your POC to POC, your fading gaps, whatever you're doing now, your candle structure, fine. Do it however you want to do that. And just run it, let it on there, make your money, and shut it off, or put a timer on it. Then that's what it's all about. That's the automation. It's hard. Hey, what I want to see is like, oh man, I have to run and go and take care of this. My setup is almost there, but damn it, I have to stop and walk away. And if you're doing manual trading, you can't possibly make that trade. But if you're automated, bam, you can go ahead and make the automated trade. Anna, yep, welcome. This is recorded, yep, and we are talking about automated trade. Topscott, you're welcome. Thank you for all you do. All right, 38 minutes in, only about 10 more minutes, and I want to get going on this. I'm going to run through these, and then I'll look at any last-minute questions. They'll be pretty quick, but again, this is recorded, so have a ball. Can you build bracket trailing stop OCO? Yes, I went through that. Use the documentation there. Links are in here. All good to go. Do you know how to program? Yes, you do. You will need some development experience. However, this GPT thing that I built, I'm going to show you that right now. I'm simply going to take this line, this one line. I'm going to copy it, go to this GPT, and all I'm going to do is hit paste. And let's see what it comes up. I am asking it to give me a sample Python code if I want to call a symbol. I want to look at ES. Give me the information. So here we have it. Look at this. It gives us the right API. It gives us our key. It gives us the hub information. Obviously, we need our own API key and our own username, but this is a really cool Python. Okay, look, it's giving us an example for ES futures. Now, if you didn't want ES futures, this is hard-coded in here. You'd make that a variable and then query and say, oh, I don't want ES. How can I query all of the symbols available? And that's a different line of code. So here you have it. This is it. This is really good. It gives us all the information. Okay, and now we go, look at this, replace it. You want to know if it has a job? Let me know if you want this to use a JavaScript bridge instead. No, convert to C#. So let's see what it does. Here's the equivalent using the Signal R hub. Look at this. And I know this coding. We have all our methods. We're broken down. We have our classes at the start. The syntax looks pretty good. Again, we have our API information up here. We have our market hub up here. Our keys. These are all of our variables that we're using in the form of strings. And it's going to query. Is it giving us which one? It's giving us the only the ES. So there you have it. Okay, it's a nice little thing. You can start with that. Convert to Pascal. I think it'll break. But then it tells you what you need. Like you have to put the NuGet. If you're not familiar with these, it's the NuGet package for Signal R. You have to get it, and then you need the JSON package as well. This is how you do it. Hey, let me know if you want this wrapped in a WIN form. You know what that means? That means you can make your own little application. For somebody said that earlier. Yay, this would be really good. And it's a process. This is just something very, very simple, but I wanted to show you just one thing that you can do with it. Okay? This is the GPT that's part of the discussion. Yes, this is it, and you'll have the link for it pretty soon. Let's run through these some more. I gotta get going on this. I don't want to run out of time. I have my little timer over here. 41. Oh, it's 5:48. That's when I started it. I only have a couple more minutes left. Ooh, I better do these quickly. Can you partially? Yes, you can. By taking multiple profits, you have all that access, availability, and control. Can you manage trades on multiple accounts? Absolutely. You only need one API subscription, and if you have 5 accounts, copy trading, whatever, yes, you have all of that information. You totally have that. Can you run alongside of it? Technically, no, because you're only allowed the logins, but there is a little tip. I put this at the end right here. If you start your API coded connection first, and then you pull your chart up, I've had luck with having them both run at the same time. Don't tell anybody. It's recorded, so they're going to know, but don't tell anybody. 400 requests. There's your rate limit concurrently. That's not the amount of trades, but just how many connections you have open. Like, hey, give me the last 400 1-minute candles. There you go. You develop custom indicators? No, you cannot at this time. And I wrote the but in here because you don't need to have the indicator. I said at the beginning, if you're looking at what's my moving average, just do your calculation. Where are my fib levels? Do your calculation. Pick your 2 pivot points, put your levels on there, multiply times 0.618. And go for it. Y'all can figure this stuff out. Risk controls, yep. It's a little bit of a skill to do that because you have to watch each of the positions and see which one is there, which one's not, which one is a unique ID, and then which one is still in position, which one's open, which one has the stop attached to it. But you can do all that stuff. It's all in the documentation. Can you put them from TradingView? Not directly, because even though there are TradingView embedded charts, it's not using PineScript. It uses Pine.js for the future use. But you're going to be pulling all this stuff, all the data itself through the API, not pulling off base of a chart. So no. However, if you have a strategy already designed in TradingView, you can use the TopstepX API to pull from something called a webhook. Documentation is in there on how to do that. Okay, so yes, you can do that because there are some things in TopstepX that aren't that are in TradingView that aren't in TopstepX. Like if you have a certain type of indicator you want to use, you have to code that in. There's no strategy built into the chart. You can pull that out of TradingView, webhook it, send it out through the API. So yes, you can do that, or just recreate it in your own little app the same way. It's not. I don't want to say it's hard, but it takes a little bit of skill. Custom risk controls. I already did that one. Webhook, yeah, there it is. And there's a link to the API docs of where to find all that webhook information. I know I'm going faster, but I got to get through this stuff. What software can we use? I already went through those. WebStorm, if you use in a Visual Studio, it has a Python integration in there as well. PyCharm, Jupyter Notebooks, and others, whatever you're comfortable with. Programming language, anything you want. Any of the programming language you want to use. I already said I am in C#. .NET is another popular one. Python seems to be the one that's outstanding so far. I ran a poll. It was like the highest one by far. So whatever language you have, as long as you can call the REST API or use the WebSocket connections, you can use it. These are the most common ones. I haven't seen anything else beyond there. And no, we're not using Pascal. Whoever wrote it in it. Top Scott, you wrote COBOL? No. Banned. That's it. Blueberry, you can see this later on. But the previous one last week was recorded. This is recorded. They're going to be bound up together and sent out in the very near future. How do you get started? Here's a couple of suggestions. we are not sponsors. If you look in these, if you mouse over them, there's no affiliate links in here or anything. Type them in yourself. I have personally used 1 month. I personally use Udemy. I personally use Coursera. I have not used Code Academy. But these are 3 if you want to go through and find out. Pretty good. Udemy's pretty good. 1 month. They have courses. They're all 1 month long. I think it's like $15 or something. Take your course. You'll get what you need to, and then use their little API ChatGPT thing going on. I already took this before. After you subscribe, that's your Swagger link. That's where you go and you get your own API. You take your API key and you get your authentication token. That's exactly where it is. This is important. At this time, we cannot run in a VPS. Unfortunately, we can't. I am working on that as we speak. There's a couple of other things as far as automation goes that I'm in touch with. For right now, just keep it simple. Just go, hey, I want to make this trade at this point in time, and this is what my criteria is, and this I want to place my trade on this account. Keep it simple for right now. If we start loading up VPSs and all different things, it's just going to wreak havoc. Don't do it right now. It's currently prohibited. I have to be clear on that. It's currently not allowed on the terms of service. I'm working on it. Bear with me, but right now, just get this stuff going first. However, if you are using a laptop, yeah, you can take it with you because that's your laptop, your information, and your residency. Let's say I'm a U.S. resident and I go to Portugal, for example. I am a U.S. resident. I can still run that from there. It's not going to be a problem for that. You're not running through a VPS. You're running from yourself, from your own laptop. So yes, copy trade. Sure, you can set up the copy trade. You can copy trade from all of your own accounts inside of TopstepX. Third-party tool. They are all custom built. There are no third-party tools. Like NinjaTrader has something called the Strategy Builder. No custom tools like that. Others have other features on there. I'm on Quant Tower. There's nothing built in there in Quant Tower that you can do right away. You have to hand code it all in C#. So no, nothing at this point. Maybe one of these awesome coders in here will be able to make one, for example. Okay, so let me make sure can you paper trade? Yeah, you have a practice account. In the new dashboard, if you don't see your practice account, go to your accounts in the new dashboard, the top left-hand side. It has add-on. Click on add-on, and you can add a practice account there. It shows up instantly. I actually did that too, and I was setting up my account that I needed to. Again, it took me 7 minutes start to finish, the whole thing. So yes, you can do that. Tilt data, not available at this time. It is being reviewed. It is being discussed, but right now, not access to any tilt data. Your private API, yes, it's private to you unless you go and share your code. It's running on your system, on your home, on your computer with your information. If you want to obfuscate it locally, fine. In case it leaks out or whatever, fine. Go ahead and do that. There's plenty of other software out there that you can obfuscate with. I was going to say the name of the one that I use. I can't remember off the top of my head. But CryptoLens. All right, so here. Yeah, you can do that. They don't see the code itself, just going through the API. No real marketplace. Yeah, there's no marketplace at this time like Ninja has. They've been around forever, so they have a thing called it's called the marketplace. I actually have some stuff where there's a vendor myself, but there's nothing yet for TopstepX. Maybe we'll build one, but there's a whole bunch of put it all in Discord and a bunch of GitHubs out there, so that's pretty good too. High Street candle data. Okay, we talked about this before. It doesn't matter. We know how to build. If you want to calculate like an average off of a Heikin Ashi, because it gives you different open, high, low, and close, just take the open, high, low, and close, and then run it through the Heikin Ashi formula, and then call that your new like HA open, HA close, HA high, HA low, and then you calculate based off of those numbers instead of off of your regular open, high, low, and close. I know I'm going quick, but I want to make sure we get this all set up. Yes, it's all being recorded. Let's finally, yeah. So how do I get a list of tradable contracts? Somebody asked me this the other day. This is a link to the help center, and it shows you how to get the contracts, and it shows you everything that's available on Topstep, all like pairs of currencies or commodities or cattle and agriculture and equities and everything else. It gives you all that information. You can see the whole list, and there's something like 60 or so different instruments you can get. So here's just a quick little sample. Then I have to stop very, 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 very soon. You can't run a VPS. It has to be local. Yep. Watch the video again. This was built by somebody in the API channel. It was beautiful. And look at this. They made this bullish, it's clear tradable based on some of this criteria. This isn't secrecy. They posted this freely. If they want to claim rights to it, go for it. It's in the chat. I just didn't want to just throw things out there. Choppy no trade zone based on criteria. Make it green, make it red. Totally fine. And then look at this. One person right here. They made a back test. They made this back testing engine. Okay, this is okay here. It's only a very, very part of the session key, not a big deal. But they made a back testing engine. Look at the dates and times and how the career, look at it, based on Bayesian optimization. This is beautiful. This is absolutely beautiful. So congratulations to that. Before I forget, let me take this API and I'm going to drop it into the chat. So you have it. There it is. You have that whole documentation. And you have all the links that I showed at the top. They're all in that documentation. So let me go back, make a new one. I'll just put this. No, I want my code right there. Bam. That we have a quick link over to the GPT one. But that's everything. There's a reference manual, how to search. There's our Project X, contact us, Topstep's API information, and the document you just saw right here. I need to stop this because I don't want to step on Coach Ray, who's coming in next. So thank you very much for everything. There will be the other one added to this one just at the same time. And welcome. Let's see if Coach Ray is here, but thanks to everybody. I'll go through and I can still see the chat. If there's anything else in here that I have to address, I'll put that in there, but definitely go over and definitely join that API channel. And let me do real quick, copy the link. I'll put that in there as well. Thanks, Poppy. All right, Scott, you got it. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. All right, folks. I need to end this right now. Y'all be safe. We'll see you. We'll see you on Topstep TV, and hit me up in the chat anywhere you need to. And best of luck to you. Take care.